All right, I just want to propose something right quick. Now that I have gotten over the initial anger that of the event that was the State of the Union address, sorry, it's just a really hard thing to see Pelosi and Harris and bumbling Biden up there ruling the world. It's really concerning. So now that I've settled down a bit, there's some things I want to point out. So obviously there's gaffes and things like this going around about Biden and stuff like this, but one of them is wrong. One of them says that he was referring to the Ukrainian people and he called them Iranians. He did not call them Iranians. What he said was, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, Putin will never win the hearts and souls of the uranium people. I thought he said uranium, like the mineral, right? But I went back and listened to it a bunch of times. He said Uranian. Now, he was obviously trying to say the Ukrainian people, but because he has dementia or whatever, he slipped up and started to say uranium. Now, why would Biden associate the Ukrainian people and talk about Putin not winning the Ukrainian people? Why would he associate that with uranium? Well, do your own research, but I've done mine. So, January 5th of this year, a big plan was announced that Ukraine, which is actually, I think it's number one in Europe. Ukraine is number one in Europe for having accessible uranium ore mines. So what does that mean? Like, there's other countries that have uranium that, larger reserves, but it's not as accessible as it is in Ukraine. So they just announced this big plan for energy independence, and it's heavily based on uranium. It's heavily based on mining these uranium reserves, these uranium ores. And guess who's helping them do this? Well, the United States, obviously. Now, let's rewind back but when the election was going on, and it was this big conspiracy theory by Rudy Giuliani and Trump that there was some shady dealings going on with Hunter Biden, that Joe Biden had given Ukraine kickbacks so that his son can be on an energy exploration company's board. Now, at that time, it was primarily a natural gas company. That's what they were exploring, which might be true. But regardless, they are deemed an energy exploration company, and I would assume that that would also mean uranium. So we already know that there is, at least among the Biden family, there appears to be some interest in the energy sector in Ukraine. Now, what would happen so here's what's happened. So Russia has invaded Ukraine and whatever. Uranium, obviously, as we all know, can also be used for nukes. Okay. So suddenly Russia's claims and what do countries do? Well, they make nukes hiding behind the energy sector. That's what they do. They say they're using it for power, and they are really making nukes. So suddenly Russia's claim, Putin's claim that Ukraine's trying to make nukes isn't that far out of the question. It's not, right? And so not only that, but is Biden personally profiting from the energy sector in Ukraine? I would be interested to know, because that's kind of the connection that I'm making. But who am I? I'm nobody. So then what happens? Well, Russia invades Ukraine and we start sanctioning them. We start sanctioning their exports, including their oil. So now you have a situation where a news article just came out that because we're sanctioning oil and our oil imports are being cut, and obviously we're not fracking or we're not tapping into our own oil, that what's the solution going to be? Well, we're going to have to up the imports of, you guessed it, uranium. So tell me again how America's the good guys. Tell me again how Joe Biden cares about the innocent children dying in Ukraine. Tell me again. Joan of Arc Media out.